The Vengeful Goddess, the rise of Sobekneferu and her divine right to rule. Yeah, we're about to get into it. You listen to King Cam and Ujumbe podcast, Ujumbe meets message, and we're gonna talk about the Vengeful Goddess, the rise of Sobekneferu and her divine right to rule. This is the book, The First Female Pharaoh, Sobekneferu, Goddess of the Seven Stars. The link is in the description. And I've been working through it. I told you we're learning together. As you can see, I have my notes. I have all the notebook paper and all the things. So the link is in the description. Check it out. So today, was there another Sobekneferu? Was there another Sobekneferu? Who was the vengeful goddess? And according to custom, did someone incite the wrath of a goddess, or did the goddess have to intervene? And number five, did Sobekneferu have the divine right to rule? Because there's still some questions about legitimacy. Now, I think some of the fam believe that she is legit, but let's find out, right? Now, so today we're going to discuss chapters 7 through 9 of the book. Was there another Sobekneferu? We're going to talk about the vengeful goddess. Who was she? Her divine right to rule. And we're going to answer a few questions. Special shout outs. And I'm checking roll. I'm checking roll at the end of the class. So make sure you get your pen and some paper, lean back, sit back. We're going to have this discussion. But yeah, don't leave until the end because I'm checking roll. You understand? I am a teacher for real, for real. I check the roll at the end of class. That's what that is. Now, the vengeful goddess and the rise of Sobekneferu and her divine right to rule. See, Andrew Collins in his book, he goes into the life of the reign of Sobekneferu, Egypt's first confirmed female pharaoh. She was the first confirmed female pharaoh. Now, part two, chapters 7 through 9 are pivotal in understanding her ascent into power symbolically, not just physically, but symbolically, right? As well as the challenge she faced. And of course, ancient Egypt was one of the most advanced and enduring civilizations of the ancient world, with a structured monarchy that placed great significance on divine rulership. Divine rulership. Okay. While the pharaoh or the Insubiti was a supreme ruler, queens played a crucial role in ensuring the stability and continuity of the throne. Far from being just the dude's wife or whatever, Egyptian queens held political, religious, and ceremonial authority, right? So some queens like Hatshepsut and Sobekneferu went beyond their traditional roles and assumed the full power of Pharaoh, challenging gender norms and leaving a lasting legacy in Egyptian history. So we're dealing with chapter 7, Sobekneferu in Canaan. Yep, she was in the land of Canaan, the land that floweth with milk and honey. Yeah, that's what the good book will say, right? So in think chapter 7, page 62, it says Tel Gazer is a large occupational mound straddling two adjoining hills in the Ajalon Valley, midway between Jerusalem and Tel Aviv in the modern day Israel. Now, in 1971, during a routine excavation conducted by American archaeologist William G. Deaver, he was working on the behalf of the Hebrew Union College, Biblical and Archaeological School, the Jewish Institute of Religion, and the Harvard Semitic Museum. A quite unexpected statue was found. Okay. Now, it shows the feet of an Egyptian royal woman standing on a heavy rectangular pedestal. Hmm. Now, despite the statue's fragment being found in secondary use within the late Bronze Age, there seems little question that it dates during the Middle Age or Middle Period. And so it goes into question. You start asking questions about why is this statue, an Egyptian statue, way over there in Israel, right? Now they saw the name and they're asking, they're thinking there is another Sobekneferu. Like Yoda said, there is another. I had to go and do that. All right. So there is another, right? So, but with Sobekneferu, Andrew Collins stated, although the statue did indeed date back to the 12th dynasty of Egyptian history, he said that this inscription could allude to one of the two women named Sobekneferu. So wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. There were two women with this name Sobekneferu. Okay? Now, the first, of course, we know the queen regent of this name, who's the daughter of Amenemhat the third. Okay? And then there's the other one. There's another one who was the daughter king of Senuseret of the second king of the 12th dynasty. Same dynasty, but of course different time frames. So so this person also had the same name. Well, okay, two people like mistaken identity kind of stuff, right? So the evidence of this other Sobekneferu comes from a single black granite bowl fragment forming part of an offering stand, right? Which was found among discarded funerary rubbish next to the mortuary temple belonging to Senuseret, the first pyramid complex in Lesit. Okay, now it says, now I'm gonna keep reading because now this is the pyramid. This is what's left of, rather, I'm sorry. This was left. Okay, and it ain't much. Of course, I think that some of the people that occupy that space up there only focus on the three pyramids of Giza and neglect the others, but I digress, right? So on this polished exterior, it says there was a damaged hieroglyphic inscription that read Sutn Jasut Sebek. Jasut Sebek, right? Basically, of course, we know Insubiti, right? The king's daughter, Sebek Neferu. Okay, the king's daughter, Sebek Neferu. Pretty cool. But now it's in the, let me expand this really quick. Okay, stop this sharing. So it's on page 64. I couldn't find the bowl, a picture of a bowl, but yeah, but of course, pieces of it are broken off, right? So you can't really, well, not broken off, but rubbed off. So you really can't see the whole inscription, right? And so now this is the the upgraded version of the graphic of Senuseret pyramid. Senuseret, the first pyramid. Of course, you see the offering hall, the chapel, the courtyard. Um, Now, if you want us to go through a breakdown and the layout of a typical pyramid and its courtyard, I may do an exclusive session, just a live session. You guys just comment, but and let me know. But we can get involved. But I can't. I don't want to uh, I don't want to waste our time if we don't want to have that discussion, right? But if you want me to get into it and have this discussion about the layout of the pyramid, like and comment. All right, now, so Colin said, if it can be argued that the inscriptions on the bowl fragment refers not to some previously unrecorded daughter of Senuseret the first, but to Sobekneferu, the daughter of Amenhat. So they're starting to put two and two together, right? So Collins asserts the offering stand having been left behind following some kind of special ceremony to her great ancestor. We already talked about how Queen Sobekneferu was a priestess, and the bowls in her hand were giving incense or have libations in them. Okay, so this left behind some kind of special ceremony to her great ancestor, and her culture is from the Fayum, and she's paying homage to those ancestors. All right. Now, then there seems no reason, like they said, why the Tel Gazir statues, sorry, status or statues fragment should also not been as representation of the same Sobekneferu. So a lot of them they will believe that this is the same person. Okay, and this statue is found close to Israel or in Israel, right? And so it says confirmation that the Tel Gezer statue fragment does belong to Sobekneferu, the last ruler of the 12th dynasty, would make its existence highly significant indeed. Okay, and he goes on to say this: not only would it provide evidence of Sobekneferu's influence outside of Egypt, but it is also one of the few pieces of statuary relating to her life from before she succeeded to the throne. So this statue is pretty significant, shown because there was a question as to what did she do and what was she like before being ruler. Okay, we see that, and so now um we can say that this is for in a similar with the bow fragment found at list the inscriptions seen on either side of the feet of the Tel Gezer statue show the name Sobekneferu, but get this, it's without the the shim. It's without the cartouche. It's without that little oval circle with her name. So this shows that she was not queen as of yet. Okay. So when the inscription on the Tel Gezer statue base was carved, she was still a princess. Hmm. She was still the princess. Okay. So, but where is Tel Gezer? Where is that? All right, let's go. And where did they find this statue? It was up in Jerusalem, the high place. Okay, excuse me. The high place. Tel Gezer was an important Canaanite stronghold, an ancient city, as well as a major cultic center. Okay, this is before Israel and all these things. So, Tel Gezer was an important Canaanite stronghold. Okay, and ancient city as well as a major cultic center. It was located in the foothills of the Judean mountains, overlooking the southern coastal plain. Its earliest buildings phases date to the Middle Bronze Age, around 2000 to 1750 before Common Era. Now, according to Collins, it was occupied during the Iron Age. Uh, King Solomon, King Solomon is said to have rebuilt the city around 1000 before Common Era. So, this was was a major cultural place, okay? But this statue, Sobekneferu's statue, was found way out here, way out yonder, right? And so now the central focus of the city and fortress was a religious shrine still in place today, known as the High Place. Okay, Hebrew word for Bama. Okay, the High Place. These unhewn standing pillars, known as in Hebrew as mesabath, are aligned almost precisely north to south, suggesting that they once held a cosmological significance to the Canaanite inhabitants of its origin. So we talked about the Sabian people a few months ago and how they line things up with the stars and all these things. So, but if you are enjoying the discussion, like and subscribe so you don't miss anything. But this suggests that the Canaanites lined their stones up with the stars also. Pretty interesting. Now, Collins stated, we don't know what deities were venerated at Tel Gezer during the Middle Bronze Age. The recent discovery, however, there's large deposits of gold and silver and votive offerings alongside the figurines showing Canaanite form of Ishtar, the Akkadian goddess of fertility, right? But how did this statue get way over there? We know where Egypt is, okay? We know where Kemet is, but how did that statue might make its way all the way up to Canaan or to Israel? Okay, it was on a diplomatic mission. Yeah, it was a diplomatic mission. It is so the question is it possible that the statue was given as a gift? Okay, probably so. Okay, the purpose of such diplomatic missions would have been to affirm existing trading links with the Canaanite city state, while at the same time making it clear that any attempt, it was a flex, you understand? It was a flex. Any attempt to upset Egypt's foreign policies will be considered an act of aggression and met with immediate military force. Let me let me read this again. All right. Okay. It says the purpose, okay, was to affirm existing trading links, okay, while at the same time making it clear that any attempt to upset Egypt's foreign policies would be considered an act of aggression and met with immediate military force. Okay, this had happened during the reign of Senat the Third, Sobekneferu's grandfather, who led the fifth military campaign against the inhabitants of Canaan, as is recorded in the Stela of Sobekneferu found in 1901. Okay, so it shows that this statue was there for a reason, and it also could be argued the statue was removed and was sent to that location by the retreating Hyksos. Okay, the shepherd, the foreigners that occupied Egypt, and they probably want to take some stuff with them, and so they was retreating because, of course, we know that King Amos the first booted all of them out. Okay, during the intermediate period. Okay, after the 12th 13th dynasty, if I don't know the exact date, but almost the first who basically revamped the 18th dynasty, the one basically the most powerful dynasty that they had, but he booted all them out, and the Hyksos left with some stuff. And yeah, it was at the end of the second intermediate period. The same solution has been proposed for the presence of the statues of Sobekneferu at Tel Adab. Okay, so a lot of it suggests it could have been transported there from the Fayum during the reign of the Hyksos king. So they was probably shipping things out or trying to hoard things and take things as they went. So either it was a flex to say, "Hey, don't try it," or the Hyksos was taking stuff. Okay, now so remember, the queens were also diplomats. They weren't just individuals who just sat up and just looked a certain way, right? Looked all aloof and standoffish, right? And so, and here it is, the Stella. There's a Stella of her grandfather. It speaks of conquering the dreaded Regetnu, the Highlanders, everywhere he went. That's what the story says. And it went until he reached to a place called Sekhmet, where he halted his advance. Sekhmet is almost certainly the ancient biblical city of Shechem. Shechem. But Shechem also sounds like, if we're thinking about Egyptology and so on, Sekhmet. Huh. Sekhmet. All right. So diplomatic missions into Canaan during the reigns of the 12th dynasty kings could well explain the presence of statues of the two important Middle Kingdom court officials of the Levant. Um, there's another statue bearing the inscription of the name Jehuti Hotep, a powerful nomarch or a governor. We talked about the nomarchs, how they rebelled a little bit, but they were still in good standing at that time, right? So the powerful nomarch, excuse me, of Egypt, of the Hare Nome in the southern part of the country, was found in Megiddo at Megiddo. Hmm. This statue was found in Megiddo in northern Israel. Okay, Jehuti Hotep thrived during the reigns of the 12th dynasty, Amenemhat II and Senuseret II and the third, while Senuseret Ankh lived at the end of the 12th dynasty. So, and remember, nomes were districts. Nomes were small neighborhoods and cities. Okay. Now, but we have to get into this discussion, okay? Because somebody's asking, what does this got to do with anything? What is Canaan? What is this random statue got to do with anything? We talking about Egypt and we all up in Israel and everything. Everything is connected at this point. Everything because Egypt was a major empire. Okay. And so the relationship between Egypt and its neighbors in the land of the Regetanu is something that might seem unconnected, okay, when it comes to the interests of Sobekneferu. But as we see it, but matters become clearer, however, when we begin to focus our attention on the important cult center in Egyptian Sinai, where the goddess Hathor, Hetaru, was venerated by both Amenemhat III and by his son Amenemhat IV. Now, so we're about to make these connections, okay? We're about to connect because not only is Sobekneferu her belief that she was destined to assume the throne, it also what happened. She took control of the most powerful kingdom. It had to happen. It had to happen that things were aligned for her to uh, take the throne. All right. Now, the vengeful goddess. Now, of course, Sobekneferu was, before we get into the vengeful goddess, I got a quiz review real quick. Oh man, according to the video, the sacred rite, the initiation of the queens of ancient Egypt, what two items Queen Sobekneferu wore on her, just a head that represented protection? Wajet, neck and neckbet, okay? Ja, Tahuti and Sekhmet, Osiris and Isis, Amun and Amud Et. The correct answer is Wajet and neckbet. Very good. A lot of you guys got that correct. Very good. And we got merch. Yeah, all right. So if you want to get a Queens of the South shirt, go and get that. The link is in the description. But yeah, we got merch, and so check it out. So we're really enjoying this series, and we decided to make a shirt. All right. Now the vengeful goddess, um, Sobekneferu, as we mentioned in chapter 5, right? She represented herself as a large stone sphinx or Heru Imaket. Uh, right, and it was right in the heart of the Nile Delta administrative center, that would soon become Avaris, the capital of the Hyksos kings. So they used the Sphinx. It wasn't just one time, but they used it several times. Okay, the trend in queens and some kings were being shown as sphinxes, human-headed and recumbent lions gained momentum during the second half of the 12th dynasty. By taking on this uh, lion form or lioness form, the king or queen was embodying the powerful and also quite vengeful aspect of the goddess Hathor. Now, now we see where that vengeful goddess is coming from. Okay. Um, and so in some customs, in some stories, Hathor can become Sekhmet. I didn't know that. Normally, the tradition says is Basset becomes Sekhmet, but Heteru can become Sekhmet. Did you know that? Comment below. But now, who was this vengeful goddess? Okay, it was indeed Sekhmet. Okay, Sekhmet. Okay, the name derived from the Egyptian word Sekhem, or divine might. Okay, great strength, or even absolute power. Okay, leading to the general opinion that the name Sekhmet meant something like the powerful one. Hmm. So, Sekhmet was thus seen as the vengeful and quite terrifying aspect of Heteru or Hathor, embodied in the Sphinxes like the one set up in Katana by Sobekneferu. But we all have that side of us. We all have that 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 person that that vengeful, that full of rage and full of anger aspect of us. Okay. We have that person that will crash out. Okay. But as you can see, as you can see, segment Sobekneferu, it shows the head of a person in the body of a lion. That means that she has control of her anger. She has control of her animalistic tendencies. We as a people have to get control of our emotions. Okay. The reason why a lot of us are in trouble, the reason why a lot of us are going through things is because we let our emotions get the best of us. Right or wrong? Am I right or wrong? All right. But let's go. So Sekhmet is the vengeful goddess, right? And so the question is, did someone incite the wrath of a vengeful goddess? Or did the goddess have to intervene somehow? And did Sobekneferu have the divine right to rule? Let's go. Now, dealing with that, some of this can we can understand that she she had to portray herself as the vengeful one. Okay, she had to push the envelope of being in power, of being powerful in a world full of men who didn't see women as the same. She had to really use that, and so she had to embody that vengefulness. But did she go too far? Mm. So, dealing with Hathor Heteru, the name Hathor means the house of Horus, a reference to the goddess womb as a place of gestation of the god who was thought to be born within every child destined to rule the two lands. It was this relationship between Hathor and Horus that linked the goddess with the perceived legitimacy of a pharaoh's reign. The legitimacy of a pharaoh's reign. Okay, Hathor was personified as the night sky, the celestial cow, the animal's four legs, acting in support of the vault of heaven. Okay, so we have to realize that she represented a lot of things. Okay, and she represented dancing, joy, even sex. Okay, merriment, poetry, motherhood. But we also know she also represents anger. Okay. And in certain places, she is called the Lady of Turquoise, or like my aunt would say, turquoise. Okay. And so the title Lady Mafkat being the ancient name for turquoise. So she was seen as the Lady of Turquoise. Heteru was seen in Nubia as the cat goddess. That's the reason why in some places that will be seen as Heteru can be seen as a cow or Heteru can be seen as a cat because in Nubia they saw Heteru as the cat. So in excavations in modern day Sudan, a mythical creature of the Nubian cat was an aspect of Hathor in her vengeful aspect, both as Sekhmet. Okay, so pretty cool. And now, as I'm reading, there's something that I read. Okay, this on I think on page 80. Amenemhat is known to have a very close relationship with Hathor. Okay, that's the reason why they venerate her so much. Okay, and also and also it's not just through his own patronage of her temple, but shrines, and also because of discovery at the labyrinth, that is his mortuary complex, and at Hawa and the Fayum is a subject fully explored in part six of the book in various statues. So her father really venerated and respected Hathor, right? In addition, in addition to this, there seems good evidence to suggest that Amenemhat eldest daughter. Wait a minute. 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 We just can't pass that like that. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did you know that Sobekneferu had a sister? I just found this out today. We've been talking about her father and brother the whole time. She has a sister. And I thought she was the only girl. Her sister's name was Neferu Patah. That was her older sister. I need to find out what happened to her sister. A lot of folk coming up missing around here. Okay. Now, so in the picture, Neferu Patah is shown holding a sistrum, an instrument sacred to Heteru or Hathor. Now the question is, should we discuss a sister? Okay, like and comment below. I know somebody gonna say something, but I didn't know that. I did not know she had a sister. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm. It's about to it's getting interesting. Okay, she has a sister. I need to know. Well, so Hathor was seen as the guardian, Hathor was seen as the guardian of Del Bahari in West Waset or West Thebes, where she was known as the Lady of the West, where since she presided over Egyptian Western Desert, which forms part of the much greater Libyan Desert. Okay. Um, it's also seen that the chosen site of Hatshepsut's magnificent mortuary temple, uh, which included a fairly substantial chapel, was dedicated to Hathor. Okay. And so and now it's probably now this is during the 12th dynasty. Okay. But I we have to look at something. We talking about wrath, right? I just saw this Hathor's temple at Dendera. Look at the stairs. Okay, this is not normal wear and tear. Okay, look at it. It's not normal wear and tear. This is not normal erosion. Something or someone caused them stairs to melt. Talking about vengeful, right? What do y'all and look at this one? Okay, this is away from the sun, the sunlight, and this is at Dendera. Okay, this is Hathor's temple, and look like water's flowing down, but look like the stairs, the stone stairs have melted. Something hot was in there. What do y'all think? And now remember, Sobekneferu was a priestess, and she observed that she sought wisdom and counsel from the gods. According to Ma'at, illustrated she was the intermediary between her people, the ancestors, and the Neteru, right? And remember that Sobekneferu's Haru name was Merit Ra, beloved of Ra. This was often used in the 12th dynasty as a title for priestess, right? Now, Senat the Priestess. Yeah. We have to spin the block. We have to spin the block because come on down to the front tonight. We got some questions. We have the people got questions. Okay. Now, it's probably because now Hatshepsut was, lived and died centuries after this. Okay. But it's noted that immediately south of Hatshepsut's mortuary temple, her gravesite, okay, there's a tomb of Senat, the priestess of Hathor. And now, who remembers who her husband? What was her husband's name? I'm not gonna say it. All right. What's her husband's name? All right. All right. But now, it's probably because of her close association with the goddess that Senat was interred in a cemetery usually reserved for men. Okay, Senat's tomb, as we saw in chapter 5, had by the reign of Hatshepsut's father, Tutmosis the first, came to be seen as the tomb of Sobekneferu. So, because remember, the people that came to the tomb was looking for Sobekneferu's grave, and they found Senat. They found her. Her association with the location was almost certainly due to the fact that Senat and Sobekneferu lived during the same dynasty, but they were also seen as both avatars of Hathor. Okay, so the question, before we go further, question: cereal first or milk first? Okay, cereal first or milk? Okay, I need. Do y'all some of y'all do y'all put milk with your cereal or cereal with your milk? Like and comment below. But now, Sanat is an interesting character because we found out it was on record she was the priestess of Hathor, but all the while developing a cult of Sobekneferu. But these two are seen as avatars, a representation of Hathor. Hmm. So college is saying something different, but I got a question. Was she playing both sides? Was Sanat playing both sides? Like and comment below. All right. So the question is, one more time, was Sanat playing both sides? All right. Now, did someone incite the wrath of a goddess? Not really, but y'all let me know in the comments. All right. And don't forget, yeah, we're gonna get into it. Happy Mother's Day. DNA dynasties and the deception, the hunt for the true mother of King Tut. Yeah, we're gonna bring this out right before Mother's Day. So we got to talk about this one. Now, the divine right to rule. Okay, her divine right, the goddess Hathor, was previously noted governed over the legitimacy of the king's right to rule through her role as the provider of the house or the het or the womb from which the god Horus would be born into this world, okay, or the physical manifestation, right? The god's spirit was thought to incarnate within any child truly destined to rule over the two lands, truly destined to rule over the two lands. Okay, to try to better understand this, Sobekneferu's own unwavering belief that she would one day rule Egypt as the incarnate Heru or Horus, we need to return to the green cyst figurine in the 12th dynasty. So we have to continue this conversation. Did the goddess have to intervene? Did she have to get involved? And did Sobekneferu have the divine right to rule? Let's go. Remember, at the initiation of the queens of Egypt, we talked about this about a week or so ago. She herself had to undergo special trials comparable to those of the Hebsed festival. Okay, because the problem was that this event could only take place after the monarch reigned for a period of 30 years. So thereafter, it would be repeated every third or fourth year to the end of their life. I told you they had to be in shape. So, of course, we don't know what the trials are, but we know the priesthood of Sebek of Shedet was there. The priest of Ra Heliopolis was there, and the Amun of Thebes was there. But I want to know, we know who was there, but who wasn't there? Okay, how did Sobekneferu gain the right to wear the Hebsed cloak? Okay, so here it is. Did the goddess have to intervene? If a rite or special trial or process had to occur, then what it entailed and what it might have performed, we don't know, right? Although there are grounds to believe, excuse me, allergies are bothering me, y'all. Sorry. Grounds to believe that it could have been conducted under the patronage of the goddess Heteru. So Hathor had to get involved. Okay? Since you guys are not, since we have no representation here, and I am the house of Heru, and we have to make her legit, Heteru had to get involved, right? According to custom. Collins believed that Hathor presided not only over the legitimacy of a monarch's reign, but also continued his or her right to rule following the completion of the Hebsed festival. So Heteru had to get involved. So they did have a special process. They did have to handle business, okay? If such right did occur, okay, it had to be under Heteru. Now, the priest of Amun may not have liked it, but it is what it is. But this is one of my favorite statues, the statue of Menkaure. But he is situated between Heteru and Anom, which is personified in a person, right? So the thing is, they needed Heteru to be legit. They needed that. So the connection between the goddess Hathor and the king's right to rule is seen in this picture right here. Okay, he was a representation of the Neteru. This was Mankara on the left, is Heteru, and the symbolic of the house of Heru. So the king needed Heteru. Okay, the reason why Hathor was always a principal deity represented in these panels was because she was seen as the mother. Okay, the mother and divine wife of the pharaoh. Okay, in addition to this, we know that a cult in her name existed in Memphis, arguably at Giza itself, where she bore the title Mistress of the Southern Sycamore. Okay, so we believe that Hathor had a stronghold in Memphis, right? And so in this divine right to rule, um, the Hebset festival's affirmation of a king's right to rule was something recognized by the goddess Hathor, who was herself seen as legitimizing kingship in her capacity as divine mother of each and every rightful king. Okay. However, if the Hebset festival was performed only after a monarch had reigned 30 years, um, we have to understand that there was a special process. So if any right was done to make it legitimate, they had to truly make her legitimate in the eyes of all the Egyptian priesthood. Okay, like Amun-Ra or even Sebek or Sedet. So with her brother Amenemhat the fourth on the throne before her, any kind of rite of passage ensuring her own legitimacy as future ruler would surely have had been done in private. One of the goddess cult centers, such as at Dendera, in what is today Middle Egypt, or even in Del Bahari. Okay, now, but of course, her path to rulership was unconventional, primarily due to the lack of a male heir following her death of her brother. But I'm finding some other stuff out too. Now, this vacuum presented Sobekneferu with a unique opportunity to assert her claim. What happened to her brother? Okay, and we're gonna talk. We got a live series finale coming up, like in May, about her fall from grace. Okay, some things was happening. Some things was happening, y'all. And so Sobekneferu did her ascension, her rise and fall was interesting. So now, get this. When Amenhotep the fourth died after 9 years, Sobekneferu was ready and waiting to take the throne. Almost certainly her succession was not. It was still questionable. What do you mean questionable? So there is some belief that Amenemhat the fourth, her brother had two sons. Yep, her brother had two sons. Okay, and now get this though. During her reign of her brother, we don't know how this came about, how she achieved it, but there's some other questions about this thing. There's some other questions about it. Who was her mother? Yeah. Now, now, now it's gonna get sticky. Okay. Who was her mother? And what was Sobekneferu's relationship with her sister? Okay. And so all this is pretty interesting, y'all. So you guys, we're on a journey together. This is really interesting. And we're gonna talk about the Queens of the Nile. We're gonna talk about my top five Queens of the Nile Valley and a bonus. And let me check roll. Let me check roll because I know some of y'all like to leave before class is over with. All right, here we go. Peggy Harrison, Free Minded 77, Ali 9532, Anna, Progress Maker 09, Soul Zenith, Tony with two E's, B Shelton, T. Adubois Billa, Marquis Folktales TV, of course, Progress Maker he twice. Now, Cheryl Conway, my Chip Moriwa, my Daddy Cam was in the mix. So shout out to him. All right, he's in here. Ken Sue, Ben Noor, Jennifer Tatum, Clark Nation Supreme, and Pauline TikTok Dance Challenge. Now, if you are still present and I didn't call your name, I need you to comment here in the comment section. Go ahead and put here. Don't be different. Put here in there. All right. So we got some international shout out: Germany, China, Canada, UK, Kenya, Ashburn, Virginia, Senegal, Japan, Columbus, Ohio, Nigeria, India, France, Australia, and Pflugerville, Texas. Yeah, what's going on? All right, man, we up. All right. So if I miss your country or city, let me know. Now, we discussed chapters 7 through 9 of the book. We talked about there was another Sobekneferu. We talked about the Vengeful Goddess Sekhmet. her divine right to rule, and we answered a few questions, and we gave special shout outs in the check roll. If you like the content, share this video on, let me see, Instagram or Facebook. You pick. All right, so we just got to talk about the vengeful goddess of the vengeful goddess, the rise of Sobekneferu, and her divine right to rule. Now, if you need to catch up on the Queens of the South series, we got a playlist, and you listen to King Cam and Ujumbe podcast, and I will talk to you later.